Hello there, welcome to Speaking of Business. I'm your host, Nancy Boyle. Today we're going to be talking about some programs that are available to veterans. So if you're a veteran or you know a veteran, you might want to find out about this information. Joining me today are Paul Arrington with the Small Business Development Center at UNF and Ron Johnson with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's great to have you here. It's nice to have information that we can share with the audience specifically related to assistance for veterans. So, Paul, let me start with you, though, and let's tell our audience a little bit about what it is that you do at the SBDC.
Okay. I am one of 8 certified business analysts with the Small Business Development Center at UNF. The Small Business Development Center at UNF, basically we serve 18 counties in Northeast and North Central Florida. We have our office in Jacksonville at UNF, but we also have offices in Ocala. We have an office in Gainesville. We have an office in Citrus County. We have an office in St. Johns County. And we also have what we call satellite offices in various other locations. Basically what we do, and for the last 30 years, we've provided developmental assistance to small businesses in the form of free one-on-one counseling, confidential counseling, I might add, and then also in the form of workshops. So anything that has to do with business development, developing marketing strategies, looking at even exit strategies, growing the business, anything that has to do with strategic planning, all those types of aspects, financing, understanding your financials, financial analysis, all those areas that people need to learn or develop in their businesses, we're there to provide assistance in.
Well, great. Thank you. Ron?
Well, I'm a lender relations specialist. That's my primary duty, and the other duty that I also do is I'm a Veterans Business Development Officer for the district. 43 counties, Northern Florida. And what we try to do is, on the lender relations side, what we're interested in doing is contacting and identifying and contacting the lenders that are not participating in the SBA's loan guarantee programs, and then going out and talking with them and getting them involved and getting them committed to the program, and then getting them trained up so that they can deliver access to capital to the small businesses in the various counties around 43 counties in Northern Florida. My other responsibility is I'm the Veterans Business Development Officer, and that's primarily because I'm a veteran also, and so I take an interest in assisting veterans in getting on the right path, giving them directions, giving them directions in terms of how to get their business started, or assisting them in getting access to the government contracting opportunities available for that particular segment. And so, that's what I do with the U.S. Small Business Administration.
So both of what you do, you'll help anybody.
Absolutely.
We'll help anybody.
But
Absolutely.
since we have a conference coming up that is geared specifically to veterans, which we'll talk about a little bit later, let's kind of go into those programs that we're focusing in on veterans. We're hearing about troops coming back, and what are they going to do? You're retiring from the military, and I guess if you were working before and somebody held a job for you, that's one thing, but a lot of these folks are looking to start a business, get into their own business or whatever. So Paul, I'm going to start with you because let's sort of walk through the process a little bit. I'm a returning veteran and I want to start a business.
One of the things that I think is very valuable with regards to our Small Business Development Center is that we also have a Procurement Technical Assistance Center specialist that is with us as well. So basically, that is a major resource that anyone interested in going into government contracting, but in particular, in this case, when we're talking about our veterans, they can come in, speak with our Procurement Technical Assistance Center manager, or myself, because I have a background in government contracting as well, and really talk about, how to go into business with government. Now, one of the advantages of being a veteran is that you understand to a certain extent how the government operates. You understand, possibly how government buys, or what some of those requirements might be. And you certainly have some of the discipline that comes with being in the military. So as far as starting your business, those things certainly are assets. And as far as doing business with government, we can provide assistance in, the various places where you want to register to do business with government. As a veteran, you certainly want to know what those sites are. You want to register with vetbiz.gov. You certainly also want to just, establish your basic registration. There are advantages as far as government contracting is concerned as having been a veteran or having received, if it turned out to be that case, a service-connected disability and having that disability letter. And that there are certain set-aside opportunities that are available for service-connected disabled veterans. But also there are opportunities, even if there is not a disability, a service-related disability, for being a veteran-owned business, especially when it comes to subcontracting and on government contracts. So knowing how to do that process becomes very important. Knowing how to get those registrations, knowing how to sell yourself to government, knowing how to market the government, because that's something altogether different than general marketing for a business. So understanding what those processes are, what your appropriate industry codes are, how to make sure that government agencies know about those codes that you carry, and also about your service-related status. All those things become very important. So we help with regards to selling to the government, marketing to the government. I just did, in fact, a workshop earlier today about proposal writing. We help with proposal writing. We do it in a workshop format, but also in one-on-one counseling. If you have a proposal you're working on, we can sit down with that veteran and say, well, here are the types of things that we would suggest that you might want to look at in connection with that. Contract performance, we provide assistance on. Getting on GSA schedules to sell your products or services, for that matter, we provide assistance on. So there are a lot of resources that we provide that are good for veterans, on top of which, and here's where I think the real value is with the Small Business Development Center, then those non-governmental development skills also that have to do with just generally knowing how to run and operate a business, we can kick in and provide those services as well.
Well, and that's a good point, because I think from an outside observer, what appears to be challenging is you take somebody who's been in the military, which is a very bureaucratic, command and control kind of an environment, who's used to taking orders, and now when they're out and they're going to own a business, they have to give the orders.
Right.
So depending on where they were in the pecking order, they may or may not have a lot of experience in leadership or taking charge or knowing what to do. So to me, that's such an invaluable asset, to have somebody that isn't going to charge you anything for the counseling and that can guide and direct you while you're kind of getting used to this sort of change in mindset.
Right.
So, Ron, let's talk about SBA. So let's
I was going to say
some of the things that you have available.
As I think as far as what Paul mentioned, veterans typically are more inclined to start a business than to be employed as an employee. There's a propensity for veterans to start businesses, and so it's based upon that premise that the SBA has created several programs that to help the veteran and make sure that resources are available for the veteran-owned veterans to start their businesses. Specifically, access to capital. Well, before I say that, let me just say that counseling is one of our most important products or services. But we use our resource partners, such as the SBDC, a very key resource partner, to deliver those particular services. We can do counseling in the office ourselves, but the SBDC is really set up with the infrastructure and the personnel and the programs to execute that very well. The PTAC also. And also SCORE, our other resource partners. Those are the three major resource partners that we use. Then there's the Veterans Business Outreach Center.
Okay.
Fortunately, here in Florida, we have one located in Lynn Haven, covers the entire state. It actually covers seven other states, but they do a very good job. And so that is another resource partner for the SBA to deliver the counseling. Now, access to capital. The SBA does not make loans directly. What the SBA does is provide guarantees to lenders who would lend money to a veteran or a non-veteran owned business to start the business or to expand the business. Specifically, the Patriot Express Loan Express program is a program that is focused for the military or ex-military community. Access to capital, provide up to $500,000 for capital to either start or to expand or grow an existing business. The guarantee again is going to be either 75% if it's over $150,000, or it's going to be 85% if it's under $150,000. That's specifically the Access to Capital program for veterans, named after veterans. However, veterans can use any of the SBA loan guarantee programs. They're not resigned or required to use only that particular program. And I always tell people, veterans or non-veterans who call me and they're looking or searching for capital, access to capital, and how to get that, I always tell them at the end of the day, even though you're a veteran and you want to use that DD-214, you want to leverage that DD-214 and get a transaction to help you launch your business or grow your business, at the end of the day, you really don't care whether it's a Patriot Express loan program or if it's a Community Express or SBA Express or whatever. At the end of the day, what you really want is a 7A loan, an SBA 7A loan, guaranteed loan, and so that's what I try to steer them in that direction.
Well, and now with the Patriot Express loan, is that tied to real estate? I know the 504 program is tied to real estate, but with the Patriot Express, do you have to tie that to real estate?
No.
Okay.
The Patriot Express program is a basic 7A loan that can be used for working capital. It can be used for inventory. It can be used to purchase real estate. It can be used for any general bona fide business transaction that a particular qualified business and individuals can need the monies for. So it's not related strictly to real estate. The 504 program is a real estate focused transaction.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up.
Right.
Now let's kind of go back to, I'm the returning veteran, and now I've worked with SBDC, I may have worked with the other folks, and I've got my business plan done. Do I take it to SBA, or do I need to find a bank that participates with SBA?
Well, what I suggest before if you've taken your business plan, if you've gotten the SBDC involved in helping you develop your business plan, and they've blessed off on it, they've judged it and said, hey, this is all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and they suggest that you're now ready to launch out and find capital, then that's fine. You can still bring it to the SBA, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll pass, give our response to your business plan. But if you've done that business plan and you've not taken, and you've done it in a vacuum, you've done it at home at the kitchen table, you've used books and you've used templates, but you haven't had someone like Paul or someone from the SBDC to look at it objectively, then I say,
go there first.
Exactly. You're about to make a mistake that you don't want to make. You want to have the SBDC, you want to have Paul or one of his colleagues look at it and really give you some feedback in order to before you launch out to meet with the bankers and try to sell the bankers, because you're only going to get one shot with the banker, and you don't want to waste that opportunity.
Which I think is a very good point, Paul.
Yeah, if I can add to that,
Sure.
I mean, I have sat down with a number of loan applicants in front of lenders, and I can tell you that I have seen a big difference between somebody who goes before a lender, is prepared, knows what they're talking about, knows their business plan, frontward and backwards. I mean, and can sit down and immediately answer questions. Knows their financials, projections, and so forth. Absolutely knows what the startup costs are, and can back them up, because yes, I've gone out and I went to that to that landlord, and I know that it's going to be such and such amount per square foot, and so forth and so on. Or I know that I've got quotes for these pieces of equipment. When you go before a lender and you know that, and you could present it that way, then that lender has something that, I mean, they feel as if you're serious, you know what you're talking about,
Sure.
and as long as you meet other criteria, the other credit criteria, well, then they are more enthusiastic about moving forward with you. So one of the things that we do is we certainly will help people prepare in that regard, but then also we're a sounding board as well. But, we analyze the plan, but we also will ask the veteran or whoever comes in, some hard questions. What does your credit score look like? What does your credit history look like? And if there are issues, well, then we might want to talk about what they need to do in order to further develop, and improve upon their credit. Or we could suggest particular lenders who may be interested in lending for their particular type of business or industry as opposed to others, because not all lenders are going to lend to everybody.
Right.
So.
Right. Excellent point. Ron, I want to go back to something that we talked about a little bit earlier, and that was, and I'm not sure if I get the term right,
Service-connected, disabled,
Yes.
veteran-owned business.
Yes. Could you elaborate on that? Because you have veterans and then you have service-connected, disabled veterans.
Exactly.
And even if you have that designation, it doesn't mean that what we might imagine it to mean. I mean, any one of us could have that designation and nobody outside of us would really know that we were designated that way.
Exactly. A service-connected, disabled veteran is a veteran who has gone to the Veterans Administration Department. They have filed a claim for benefits based upon some calamity or some trauma or some health issues that physical or otherwise that they believe were connected to their service.
Okay.
And so they simply file a claim with the Veterans Administration, Department of Veterans Administration, who will make adjudication on that situation, on that claim. And based upon their adjudication, they can be awarded a disability rating of from 0 to 100%. If they get an award letter, an adjudication letter saying you've been awarded 0% service connected or 100% service connected, that's what you want as a veteran to have if you own a business, because that particular document now qualifies you as a veteran, as a service connected disabled veteran. And that if your business, is doing business and provides a service or a product that the government is buying, and there are preferences or set-asides that are available in that particular business industry or business line, you now have an opportunity to bid on, and to bid on those particular transactional opportunities. Now, a veteran is a person who served in the military, honorably discharged, DD-214, but they may not have any service. They will not have any service-connected disability. Everyone is a veteran.
Sure.
But then there's that category of persons who are service-connected disabled. They've been adjudicated by the Department of Veterans Administration.
Okay.
So that's really key. That's really key, is to go ahead and, if you're a veteran, you own a business, and you're saying, well, I'm not service-connected. Well, that's because you didn't file the claim.
Okay.
Which you should do. Go through your military Department of Military Affairs, City of Jacksonville, for example, or other resources to help you. File that claim, bring your case before the Department of Veterans Administration, and they will make a determination. And then if they determine that you are service connected, your situation, then they will award you the letter, and now that will lead you to have that distinction, that credential.
So I can be a veteran, I can bid on government contracts, and because I'm a veteran, I might get a little bit, I know they score different things, I might get a little higher score, which might put me in a better position to win that contract. If I'm service-connected, disabled veteran, I might get a little bit more credibility for that.
Well,
am I understanding it right?
Let me see if I can add clarity to it. If there are contracting opportunities that have been set aside strictly for service-connected disabled veteran businesses,
okay.
the rest of the world, the rest of the population is not eligible to apply, bid on those transactions.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you're a veteran-owned business but you're not service-connected, then you can't.
You're not going to be considered as part of that.
Yeah, you're not going to be considered. Now, perhaps there are contracting opportunities that are going to be set aside for veteran-owned business. Then you, as a veteran own business.
Whether you're service connected or not.
Voila.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And certainly for subcontracting opportunities also, because one of the things that I encourage small businesses not to overlook is that often, especially if they're doing like a specialty or a special trade or something like that, the opportunity may not come out for their particular service. Okay, but it might come out with something that's broader or something that they might not have the full capacity to perform, even if it is in their particular line of industry, because they're a small business. So one of the things that is very important for them to take advantage of is subcontracting opportunities. There may be a large prime contractor that's out there that chances are this opportunity is going to go to a large business.
Sure.
However, as a subcontractor, and especially if it's a large business and they're doing business with the federal government, they are required by the government to basically state what their subcontracting goals are with regards to how they intend to utilize, among other types of small businesses, service-connected, disabled, veteran-owned small business,
Gotcha.
and also veteran-owned small
Exactly.
business.
Okay.
So they have to say that how they're going to utilize these small business sectors in their subcontracting opportunities. So and that's not insignificant, because again, the small business might not even be able or have the capacity or be in the position to compete for that larger contract.
Sure, and that makes sense. You have the prime contractor, and then you have all these different subcontractors. So as a smaller business, it behooves you to not only know what kind of contracts are out there, but know who the primes are, so that you can then start marketing to them and be included on
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Okay. Any other programs you want to talk about?
We've talked about our counseling programs, primarily through the Small Business Development Center,
Okay.
Veterans Business Opportunity Center, and SCORE. We've talked about our access to capital, the loan guarantee programs. We have basically 14 different lines of loan transactions, but I would say the 7A, if you're listening, you're watching, you want to go to a lender when you get to the point, if you're looking for a loan transaction, you want to look for SBA 7A, SBA guaranteed 7A loan transaction. Our disaster, the SBA's other mission is to provide disaster assistance to every citizen that's affected by a disaster, and most types of businesses. That's one of the things that we as an agency deliver. We haven't done that here in northern Florida because we haven't had that problem.
Thankfully.
Here. Yes. And contracting opportunities. Again, we've already discussed some of those situations. So I think we pretty much covered a lot of the things that we do. Plus, the SBA is the advocate for small business at the Congress. We are the agency that represents the interests of the small business at the congressional level. So the laws that have changed. For example, it's because of the agency's effort that we have extended the small size standard. It's been increased so that businesses that were on the fringe are now considered small businesses through either revenue size or tangible net worth size or the number of employees, those kinds of gauges. We are the agency that makes determinations with respect to the NAICS codes, those kinds of things. So our agency is very much interested and active in maintaining statistics, watching the health of small businesses, and being the advocate for small businesses at the congressional level as well as at the state level. I have to say our district director has been a very fine advocate throughout the northern Florida area, here in Florida, at the state level and at the municipal level, as an advocate for small businesses. And we, as part of the supporting staff, will continue to do that and be on shows like this to talk about the things that we do. Yes.
And we appreciate it.
Thank you.
But let's talk about the conference coming up. And if I get this right, it's the Veteran Small Business Capital Procurement Seminar. Is that right?
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. Well, let's talk about it, because it sounds like what you're doing is putting together a whole bunch of resources in one place on one day that people can take advantage of. So, Paul, why don't you take this one?
Okay. It's going to be on August 11th. It's going to be an all-day conference. It's going to start at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to go until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And as you mentioned, I do think it's going to be important for veterans for several reasons, veteran-owned businesses for several reasons. One is that it's going to be a great networking opportunity. You know, one of the things that I see as value whenever you have any of these types of conferences is that you want to see who else is there, who you can network with, learn from, and also begin to or continue to forge, business connections with. It's also going to be a great learning experience. We're going to have in the morning we're going to have a success panel. So
Okay.
we're going to have a couple of business owners, services connected disabled veteran-owned business owners there who have been successful in government contracting and actually have been successful in one case in working with each other, who can share some of their, hard-earned stories as to what it has taken in order for them to reach that level of success. We're also going to have a lender there as well who has experience in the Patriot Express loan program. So that's going to be one set of resources. Then in the afternoon, we're going to have a procurement panel where we're going to have some speakers that are going to be sharing from the governmental side primarily some of the things that they look for whenever they do business with businesses. So it's going to be a learning experience, a networking experience. We're going to start out with a continental breakfast. We're going to have lunch there. We're going to have keynote speakers during the lunch. So it's going to be an all-day event that should be very beneficial to veteran-owned business.
So who's your keynote speaker?
Well, actually, what we've done is we've got two key speakers. We've got a young lady by the name of Ashley Edwards. She's coming over from Florida State, Tallahassee, Florida State University, where she's the director of the Center for Veterans Outreach, Florida State University.
Okay.
Florida State University is one of a number of universities that are part of a consortium that have launched, over the last two or 3 years, have launched a program called the Entrepreneurial Boot Camp for Veterans, which is a program that's focused specifically for the post 9/11 veterans who have returned back from since 9/11 many deployments and have are now engaged launching out to engage in business, but they find themselves and I have to say, veterans, these young veterans all have lots and lots of leadership experience, especially under fire, in very tough and demanding situations. They may not have the business skill sets necessary. And so this entrepreneurial boot camp for veterans has been launched to give them access to the skill sets necessary: the finance, the marketing, the accounting, the strategic planning, the business planning. To give them information and skills so that they can then launch themselves into their own businesses. So she's going to be one of the speakers, and she's going to talk about that particular program. She's also going to talk about a program that's called Entrepreneurial Boot Camp for Families. We found a lot of wounded warriors. Our wounded warriors, their families are now taking care of them because of the extent of their injuries. And so there's a program that's been created to allow the caretaker and the caretaker's family to now get those business skills so that they can launch a business to help support the family.
What an excellent program.
And then finally, there's a program called Endure and Grow, and that's a program that's focused on female veterans. There's an awful lot of female veterans.
Sure.
If you recall, early in the war, there were two female veterans who were captured, and then they were freed by a SEAL team action or special ops team action. Well, female veterans also have these, particular interest in launching businesses, and so now there's a program here that's focused on enrolling them in the program and giving them the skill sets that they need. So Miss Edwards is going to talk about that. And then one of our very successful, the service-connected disabled veteran-owned business, Carol Craig Technologies, is nice enough to come from around the southern part of the state and share with us her successes. I had a chance to hear her speak about 2 or 3 years ago at a conference in southern Florida, and her story is dynamic, and so we thought that program ought to be heard here in northern Florida and to inspire some of our veterans to do what they're about to do.
Great. We're running out of time, Paul. Who should people contact for more information?
You can go to our SBDC website, which is www.sbdc.unf.edu, and there you'll look to find out what special events are coming up, and you can register there.
Okay, great. I want to thank you both for joining us. I'm sorry we're out of time. Thank you and the audience for joining us.
Thank you.
And come back next time when we'll be speaking of business. Bye now.
You're watching Public Access on Xfinity 99, exclusive programming for Jacksonville Xfinity subscribers.